Bill Letson had a near-death experience when he went unconscious after being attacked by a contagious virus. That experience left him changed by the spiritual teachings and unconditional love that he received from the spiritual beings. He realized his worldly doings and settled with them for a fresh start. In 1994, amidst a severe flu epidemic in Santa Barbara, a firefighter named Bill Letson found himself at the heart of the chaos. Posted at the paramedic engine of Station 11, Bill, an engineer by designation, was familiar with the urgency of his job. The emergency rooms were tightly packed with patients, and Bill's team was constantly in motion, reacting to distress calls throughout the area. One particular call was imprinted in Bill's memory as he narrated his story. Arriving at the scene, he encountered a woman in critical condition, restricted to her room by illness. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, he jumped into action, quickly managing oxygen to the ailing patient. However, during these efforts, Bill accidentally exposed himself to the contagious virus. Days later, he found himself confined to bed, fighting the full force of the illness. As his condition rapidly declined, he realized the gravity of the situation. Weak and disoriented, he struggled to recognize his mirror reflection. His heartbeat elevated, and his blood pressure dropped. With his heart racing and his body failing, he knew he needed urgent medical attention. Recollecting the last of his strength, he managed to reach out to his family for help. Identifying the severity of his condition, they wasted no time calling medical authorities. Soon, the Santa Barbara County Fire Department arrived, rushing Mr. Letson to the hospital for emergency treatment. In the crowded hospital ward, he received life-saving care from the dedicated medical team. Hooked up to multiple IV drips, he fought against severe dehydration and the damage of the flu. Despite the chaos around him, Bill remained strong. He was injected with 11 liters of fluid that day. However, his journey through illness took an unexpected turn when a combination of morphine and another drug was injected into his IV, causing him to collapse. Shifted to intensive care, Bill waited on the edge of consciousness as doctors fought to stabilize him. It was during this critical moment that his experience took a strange turn. As his body lay in the sterile boundaries of the hospital room, his consciousness climbed onto unfamiliar heights. Standing between a world of twinkling stars and heavenly orbs, he felt a deep sense of peace wash over him. In that moment, all earthly worries and burdens melted away, replaced by a dominating sensation of acceptance and love. Though his physical body remained tied to the hospital bed, his soul left for a supreme journey through the cosmos. In that brief moment of clarity, he experienced a profound sense of connection and attachment to something greater than himself, a hint of the boundless love and beauty that lies beyond the confines of mortal existence. Bill suggested that negative emotions do not travel with us in that direction and are always left behind. Only good things follow. He described his experience of traversing a star-filled realm, feeling an overwhelming sense of trance similar to a cosmic orgasm. He believed that earthly emotions remain here as tools for learning. He felt himself as a vast, expanded cloud, detached from the limitations of his human identity. Despite retaining full knowledge of his life as Bill Letson, he expressed unwillingness to return to his earthly existence, viewing his physical body as a discarded banana peel. As he continued his journey, he found himself in a solid, well-lit environment resembling a clinic. Before him stood 3 hooded beings, reminiscent of those depicted in the movie Communion. Though they appeared somewhat unusual, Bill felt a warmth and affection originating from them. They engaged him in the discussion, expressing interest in his journey and the lessons learned. Among them, a tall, thin figure stood out as a leader, radiating an irresistible sense of love and acceptance. Bill felt deeply moved by the being's presence, dominated by the intensity of emotion radiating from him. Their interaction felt familial, as if the being held a paternal affection for Bill. Bill felt like crying, exploding with emotions when the leader approached him. Despite Bill's initial reluctance to return to his earthly existence, the being gently guided him towards acceptance. As Bill began to express how he was not able to comfort her wife by accepting a job on a remote island, ended up being a firefighter instead, and how deeply that humble lady wished for it, he wished he should have accepted that job. Then he realized that those beings were not particularly interested in his stories. It became apparent to him that his visit was merely a brief interlude, and his return to life was inevitable. When the time came for Bill to leave, the tall being convinced him that he had important tasks awaiting him back on Earth. Unwillingly, Bill began to feel himself slipping away, the surroundings dissolving as he slipped back into darkness, preparing to return to the world of the living. Upon waking up in his physical body, he found himself confronting the reality of that hospital room. A nurse, pleased to see him conscious, hurriedly told him that his condition had been a cause for concern among the medical staff. However, Bill's immediate concern was to return to the heavenly experience. Expressing frustration and disbelief, he questioned the nurse about his sudden return, feeling as though he had been abruptly pulled away from a place of comfort and friendship. In his mind, he had already accepted his departure from life, convinced that he had passed away. In response, the nurse offered a realistic explanation when he did not like much, but ultimately returned to the present reality. Despite his initial resistance, Bill recognized the wisdom in her words. He acknowledged the importance of accepting life and fulfilling one's purpose, as advised by spiritual teachings. For Bill, his journey had provided him with a profound insight into the links of existence and the importance of living purposefully. With this fresh angle, he decided to honor his experience by living following his higher self and making choices that matched the highest vibrations of his being. When questioned about the reality and purpose of the dark place where he spent that precious time, Bill explained the philosophical nature of that reality. He discussed the concept of vibrations and their influence on the afterlife. He suggested that individuals are responsible for creating their vibrations through their actions and intentions during life. He described how those with low vibrations, characterized by selfishness, may find themselves in lower vibrational dimensions after death until they satisfy their earthly shortcomings. He also narrated the story of a woman who remained in a coma for a week and bumped around hell during that period. After self-realization, she sang a spiritual song that helped her pop out of that low vibrational place. He shared that some remain there for even longer periods. Drawing upon tales of spiritual teachings, including experiences of near-death and astral projection, Bill explored the idea of navigating through different levels of existence. He referenced Edgar Cayce's encounters with realms beyond the physical, describing a hierarchical structure with progressively lighter vibrations. Cayce's accounts included encounters with beings in dark robes and nightmarish landscapes at lower levels, contrasting with the lighter realms where souls accessed the Akashic records. He stated that the first level was the place of nightmares, and there were many people there with physical deformities and bizarre faces. Bill expressed the experiences of Michael Tamara, who emphasized the transformative potential of death, viewing it as a transition to a higher state of being rather than an end. He conveyed a sense of comfort and reassurance, suggesting that death represents a profound upgrade and a return to a state of ultimate well-being. In Bill's perspective, death is not an end, but a continuation of existence in a more elevated form, where reunions with departed loved ones await. These near-death experiences are truly amazing and life-changing. They seem to have a deep impact on the subject's life. Thank you for watching. On this channel, you will find some incredible videos like this one, so must subscribe for more.